Okay, let's talk about one single conversation. A conversation that could be worth a staggering amount of money over your lifetime. I know it might sound intimidating, but by the end of this, you're going to have a clear, actionable playbook.
Yep, that's the number. Over $1 million. And the crazy thing is, this isn't about winning the lottery. This is a figure that is completely within your control, and it all starts with one key moment, right at the beginning of your career.
So, how does this even happen? Well, it's all about the compounding effect. When you accept that very first offer, every future raise, every bonus is calculated off that lower starting number. We're talking about a short, maybe 5-minute conversation today that could literally reshape your entire financial future.
Right. So if the stakes are that high, why on earth do so many of us just leave that money sitting on the table? It really just comes down to the mental hurdles we put in our own way. Let's break those down.
Do any of these sound familiar? That feeling in your gut that you'll seem greedy? Or that you'll make your potential new boss mad? And the biggest fear of all, what if they pull the offer completely? Look, these are totally normal fears, but they're based on a big misunderstanding of how this whole game is actually played.
Let's just reframe this for a second. You are not asking for a favor. You're a professional, and you're entering into a business deal. Plain and simple. The company wants your skills, and you want to be compensated fairly for them. It's a transaction between two equals. That is it.
And here's the big secret that most people don't realize. They expect you to negotiate. It's true. A lot of hiring managers actually see it as a positive sign. It shows you're confident, you've done your homework, and you know the value you bring to the table.
So how do you get that confidence to actually ask for what you're worth? Well, it doesn't come from being aggressive or pushy. It comes from being prepared. Real confidence comes from data, and here's where you're going to find it.
This is your toolkit. Websites like Glassdoor, Levels.fyi, which is amazing for tech roles, and even the Bureau of Labor Statistics have so much data on what people in your exact field are making. You don't have to guess anymore. The information is out there.
Now, the real key here is to get specific. A project manager in San Francisco working at a giant tech company is a totally different ballpark than a project manager in Omaha at a small nonprofit. The more detailed you get with your research, the stronger your case is going to be. All of your research should boil down to these 3 numbers. First, your floor. That's your walkaway point, the absolute minimum you'll accept. Then, your target. That's the realistic number, your fair market value. And finally, your anchor. That's the high but still justifiable number you're going to use to start the conversation.
Okay, you've done the homework. You've got your 3 numbers. Now, it's time for the main event, the conversation itself. Don't worry, we're going to walk through the script step by step.
So, when the offer finally comes in, your first move is to do nothing. Seriously, you just want to express how excited you are and then ask for a little bit of time to review everything. This takes all the pressure off and puts you in control. It lets you prepare your counteroffer without being on the spot.
And here it is. This is basically your script. Just notice how it works. You're polite, you're basing your ask on data and your own experience, not just because you want more, and you're opening up a discussion. It's confident, not confrontational. That's the key.
And what you don't say is just as important. You have to avoid all that weak hedging language. Things like maybe or I was just wondering if possibly. When you use words like that, it just signals that you don't even believe in your own request. You got to state your case clearly.
All right, but let's be real. It's not like you're going to ask and they'll just say, okay. Negotiation is a dance. It's a back and forth. So what happens after you've made your ask? Let's go through some of the most common responses.
This is probably the most likely thing that's going to happen. You anchored high with your number, and they've come back somewhere between their original offer and what you asked for. So, are you done? Not necessarily.
Believe it or not, you can often go one more round. Just by saying something like this, you're showing that you're collaborative, but you're also firm. The whole goal is to find out where their true ceiling is, and you're probably not going to find it on the very first counter.
Okay, here's a common roadblock. They might hit you with, sorry, the salary band for this role is fixed. We can't go any higher. So, is the negotiation over? Absolutely not. This is just where you pivot.
If that base salary really is locked in, it's time to start talking about total compensation. And this is so important. Salary is only one piece of the pie. There are so many other valuable things you can and should be negotiating.
So let's expand our definition of what compensation even is. A truly great offer is about way more than just the paycheck. When you start to think bigger, you can unlock thousands and thousands of dollars in hidden value.
Just look at this list. A signing bonus, an extra week of vacation, working from home a few days a week, a better title, even getting them to agree to an earlier performance review so you can get a raise sooner. All of these things are on the table, and they all have real, tangible value.
Let's just pause on this one for a second, because it's huge. A better job title isn't about your ego. The salary for your next job is going to be based on the title you have now. So negotiating from associate up to manager today could literally be worth tens of thousands of dollars at your very next company.
And you can't overlook the real-world cash value of these perks. I mean, an extra week of vacation, that's a week of your life you're getting paid for that you didn't have before. Working remotely can save you thousands a year in gas, lunches, you name it. That's real money in your pocket. So, we're back to where we started. Negotiation, it's a skill, not a conflict. It's just about knowing your worth, doing your homework, and having a calm, data-driven conversation. So knowing what you know now, could that one conversation really truly change your life? All the data says yes.